Hey everybody, I hope y'all are doing well today. This is the second installment for the newsletter, secrets of the series that you'll only get in the newsletter, or if you subscribe to the YouTube channel that I'm not promoting. So most likely you're only going to get it in the newsletter. I talked about Ree and Elizabeth from the Soulmate call in the last one. So today I'm going to talk about my characters from book 2, the Soulmate Battle. Ree's brother Caleb and Elizabeth's best friend Pacify. If you were wondering how to say it, it is Pacify. Where did I get the name Pacify? Of course, it's Greek. Where did I get the pronunciation from? The BBC show Atlantis. I was watching Atlantis, and the villain, she was the villain, but her name was Pacify, and I was like, and that's how they said it. I've heard Pasiphae, Pasiphae, different ways, but I loved the way they used it. And as soon as I heard the name, I just knew that I needed to use that name for a character. It didn't matter about the personality and who the character was. I just wanted that name. Who is Pacify? Pacify is Elizabeth's best friend. You heard that part of who Elizabeth is based on the kind of person I was at 19, going on 20. Pacify she looks exactly like my best friend at 19. No names. Only she knows who she is. And my sisters. My sisters know everything, right? But Pacify in real life does know that I used her, does know that I made a fictitious world where we marry brothers, or where the main characters based on us marry brothers at that age. So that is why I chose her looks, some of her personality. Some things are true, some things aren't. I'm not revealing those secrets. That's between me and the real Pacify. No, Caleb. I don't know. I don't even remember how Caleb's name came to be. I was just going through names in my head and was like, what name? Because when I wrote book 1, I didn't even know that Caleb and Pacify were going to be soulmates. I did not even know that I was going to write a book 2. I thought book 1 was going to be it. But sure enough. So I was like, what name do I want to use? What name do I like? And I just went through the names in my head and Caleb popped in. And of course, Caleb is a junior. So you have Caleb and his dad, Caleb. In book 1, you meet both of them. In book 2, you get to know Caleb Sr. You get to know Ree. Look at me. So many people are saying Ray all the time, and I'm in a issue with Audible with pronouncing it right, that I said it wrong. It's Ree. You meet Ree and Caleb's parents in book 1, but you get to know them better in book 2, which I love, which meant they had to have their own story, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, the name Caleb just popped out of thin air. One thing I love about Caleb is that I had to create him from scratch, completely, 100%. He's not based on anybody. Now his looks, I was like, man, what does Caleb look like? It took me a while. I was like, man, I don't know what he looks like. I just couldn't picture him. So one day I'm on YouTube and this song comes on and this musician is on stage and I saw him and I was like, that is Caleb. If you want to check out who he's based on, Brandon Lake is his name. You can just search him on YouTube and find him. He sings, he plays guitar, got the tattoos on his arm, the long curly hair, just like my Caleb. And that's where the inspiration for Caleb's character's looks came from. I don't know Brandon Lake in real life. I don't know his personality or anything like that. So he's not based on him. But I did make the villain in book 2's name Brandon because I found his looks from Brandon Lake. See, I don't care if you're a good guy or bad guy in real life. I still might use your name for a villain. You never know. Or an antagonist or whatever, however you want to label it. But I know they're the same synonyms, right? But I love the Soulmate Battle. I love Caleb. I love Pacify. I love their journey. You do not have to read this one. You do not have to read Rhea and Elizabeth's story before reading Caleb's. It is an overlap in part 1. This one is separated into parts. It's the only book I've written that's separated into parts. In Elizabeth and Rhea's story, I wrote it in first person because I wrote it as if it was a diary. This one, because there were so many more characters, that's when I dove into the world of writing in third person. It is definitely in dual POV. I despise books that are written in first person, or that are written in one point of view, because I want to know especially when you're reading romance, I want to know what's in the head of the other person. So this was an amazing journey. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, you don't have to read the first book to read this one. It is understandable without having read book 1. You will get spoilers for book 1 if you read this one ahead of time. But still, this one I was way more proud of than the first book, I think, because it took me so much out of my comfort zone. It made me grow in ways I didn't expect as a writer. I'm still growing every day, but this one took me leaps and bounds. It has been updated many times since the beginning. Some of the extras, repeats, I've learned as a reader, I do not like repetitive. I like to be trusted as a reader, and I like to trust you as a reader, so I have eliminated some repetitive moments. I did notice a couple times when I head jumped in my point of view. That has been fixed. That's something else I don't like when I'm reading a book. I like dual point of view. I like quadruple point of view, but keep it in the same point of view in the same chapter. That's where I am as a reader. It is controversial as to whether or not that's acceptable in a book. If you do some research, it's considered poor writing if you head jump regularly in a chapter. But that's just me, and I noticed I had done it a couple of times in this book, and I fixed that. So if you have an old copy, please be merciful on me if you see that kind of inexperience. But like I said, I fixed it. Anytime you see something in a book of mine and you want to point it out to me, if I feel it's relevant, I go and fix it, because I want my work to be perfection. I know I'm continually improving. I know I'm not perfect. I'm an indie author. Thank you for listening. I can't wait to tell you about book 3 in the next segment. But thank you for listening. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you are reading my new series and loving it. Talk to you next time.